Well, hello. Welcome to Big Ideas Podcast. This is the podcast where three co hosts rotate roles to explore real conversations, meaningful ideas, and decisions that shape our lives.
I'm Jessica Broadway, coach, author, speaker, multi-passionate, lover of life, and I'm excited to be a co-host with you guys. Such a pleasure.
Yeah,
Pleasure is ours.
it is.
I'm Justin Gabassi, a human design coach, musician, traveler, co-host on Big Ideas Podcast, and really dig hanging out with these two, talk about cool stuff.
And I am Mark Steiner, and I make dreams come true
Yes, he does, ladies and
through
gentlemen.
Gig Salad. That is something that we give people the chance to do what they love, and I'm a part of that. I'm also a father and a mate, a partner, and co-host with these two on Big Ideas Podcast, amongst a number of other things. But those are the things that come to me now. Today, I'm in the host role because I came up with this subject, and it's going to get personal. I'm going to tell you up front. I don't feel particularly emotional about it right now, but when you start picking around at things, who knows what's going to happen. But this is something that's been on my heart, mind, in my soul for a long time. And but it's coming to the surface in a way that I think, I don't know if it's an age thing. I don't know, but it's the reason I want to explore. And that thing is food. Food, glorious food.
That's just what I was thinking.
Were you?
That was the song I was singing in my
We
head.
could probably harmonize it if we had a few more seconds. But me. No, we're not going to do it. But we are going to talk about food. And a little backstory for me, and I'll try to do this really quick. I'm counting on you, Justin.
Okay, bro.
Real
Clock
man,
is
if
ticking.
need be.
Okay.
So, as a wee little boy, I was chubby. Let's just call it. I was husky, and we're talking about in kindergarten. At a pediatrician appointment, the doctor said, "We better get this under control." And so this was 1970. I'm thinking 1971, and they put me on the Atkins diet. I was going to kindergarten.
Wow.
And my mother was doing bologna roll-ups with a piece of bologna, maybe a piece of cheese, and just to give me a little flavor and taste and a little roughage, just a little piece of lettuce in there. But I was carb-free for a period of time. Guess what? It helped. It worked. But it was hard. I remember how difficult this was because, number one, my mother is a Northern Italian goddess, and she could cook like nobody's business, and guess what's in a lot of Italian dishes? Pasta. And so I had neighbors, Cuban neighbors, that could make a pot of rice that would make you cry. It was, and I could eat a pot of rice. I literally could eat a pot of rice to the point when I was green. And so food had played a role. Several years later, I'm in junior high, and I'm starting to now pay attention to girls and wondering, am I attractive? Will they think I'm attractive? And I really became obsessed with my weight. And I started taking street-level amphetamines. I mean, they were speed. I was taking speed. They were called yellow jackets. They were black beauties. And I was popping speed pills, and until the repercussions of that became unlivable, that I was up all night. Often I'd be cleaning my room, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, my parents would come in and think, "What the heck are you doing?" It started to affect my anatomy. It was in a not just losing weight. So I stopped. I stopped taking speed, but I was leaning into pot. So there's munchies. Oh man, what a wicked world it is! Why can't it all just work together? So I started, but I went from food being my drug of choice, and I ate so much one day that I felt sick. And it just felt so natural to me. I stuck my fingers down my throat and I made myself throw up. And it was a light bulb. I didn't know what bulimia was. I just knew I felt sick. I felt uncomfortably sick. I didn't want to feel sick, and I made myself throw up. And man, it was a light bulb moment. It came to me that I can eat whatever I want, and I'll just throw it up.
Romanticized.
Oh man, it was heaven.
Yeah.
It was absolute. I thought, does anybody else know about this? I thought I was, I was gaming the system, and so that sent me on 8 to 10 year journey of on and off dealing with bulimia, struggling with bulimia, and church saved me. It was God that saved me. Truthfully, because I started studying the Bible in this church, and somebody said to me in the studies, could you imagine Jesus throwing up? And I want to be Christ-like. And I couldn't get that imagery out of my head, because no, I could not imagine that. So in my efforts to be more Christ-like, I willed myself to stop being bulimic.
Wow. And
went on a path of, church and God. And but here I am at 60 years old, and it's never been easy. I controlled my weight at various times, in not the most healthy ways, some with extremes, 40-day fast I did once of nothing but juice. Wow. And at different times more healthy than other times, but when I was about to turn 50, 11 years ago, I looked at myself in the mirror. I had just come back from California, where all the flat-bellied beauties are, and I thought, if I don't figure this out now, I'm never going to figure it out. And I went on a program called Reshape, Reclaim, and it worked. And over 3 years, I lost 50 pounds. I went from 225 down to 175, which is not a good, healthy weight for me. But it was better than the alternative. And over the past 10 years, and specifically over the past 4, I just inched back up to where I'm at 200. I swore I would never go above 200 again, and it's not as easy to shed as it used to be. So I'm thinking about starting an OA meeting. If there's anybody listening who knows anything about OA, I'd love to talk to you about it. But today I want to talk to my co-hosts about food, all the wonderful things about food, about what food does to us, the romanticized versions of food, foods we love, foods we call treats, but they're not really treats because they don't treat us well after we've had them. So that's a bit of the backstory about me, and I'm being more vocal about this than I ever have. I've been sober from alcohol and other things I would have tended to go to in the past, and I've eliminated all of them, but food, this thing that we need to some extent. And so, Justin, as my wellness coach, you saw me we started working together in 22, and I charged you with getting me into my daughter's wedding. I needed wedding weight. I wanted to be a stand-up father to the bride. And I don't know that I reached my goal. That was no fault of yours, but I did get healthier. But I do want to hear from you, Justin, first about, one, do you struggle with food? I look at you and think you must have a healthy relationship with food. You just must, because look at your physique, as if that's the judge. And I know that's not the barometer, by the way, everyone. I know that, but I look at somebody like Justin, and I think he's got it. He's got control. He's got discipline. But you tell us, Justin, what I don't know.
Well, first of all, brother, thank you for sharing with us and the audience.
Yeah.
It wasn't until 15 minutes ago that I knew you were still on having the struggle.
Yeah.
And in fact, even when we were working together, I didn't know it was plaguing you like this either. I knew that it had been a challenge for you, but I didn't know that it was an ongoing thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I should put a disclaimer out to the audience. This particular topic could be a multi-part podcast.
Maybe we should do that.
I would invite it.
Because this gets so deep into so many levels of passion that I have about human health, mental, physical, emotional health, and a lot of it is based around food. And so, do I have discipline? Yes. Do I struggle like everyone else? Absolutely. I made a crack to Jessica. Firstly, man, there's so many places I could go, but firstly, a lot of celebration is built into food.
Mm-hmm.
And so since I've been home, my mom makes these amazing desserts. And she's also Italian, so also the carbohydrates and the pasta and all the things that we all love. Which, by the way, the reason why we love some of these things is because they make our dopamine and other neurochemistry just go, woo,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, but she tossed a comment. She's like, I noticed you haven't been eating a lot of my blackberry pie. And when I was in Thailand, I was able to sort of be away from some of the social constructs where there was a celebratory aspect where, desserts and things like that. And I have to, it's a struggle like me for everyone else. I have to find ways to sort of avoid some of that because I'm tempted like everyone else is. And I was like, Mom, I just haven't eaten that stuff for a while and I'm trying not to eat it, And for me, people will be like, well, it looks like you don't eat any of that stuff, or they'll make like these snide remarks. Yeah. And I want to say, look, it's just as hard for me as it maybe is for you, but I just try to avoid it, or there's other things other ways that I try to avoid it. But what we're dealing with right now with this particular topic is not just it's hard not to eat certain foods, or it's also a massive machine. And I'm seeing this more clearly than ever since I got back to the U.S. Some of my friends and family have gained weight since I left. These GLP-1 drugs have gotten ubiquitous and really popular.
What is ubiquitous?
Oh, ubiquitous is they're everywhere.
Got it.
Yeah. And so...
Thank you.
So this is a frustrating thing that I think about all the time, and I don't want to go off too long because I want Jessica to chime in here too. But there are many forces at work that make it hard for us to not abuse food. And it's built into the framework of certain societies. And I'll stop there because I could go off on a big long tangent. Mm-hmm. So it's not only discipline, but it's also sourcing. It's how much certain foods cost. Cheap, refined, sugar-laden foods are cheaper. It's also marketing. This stuff's getting marketed to our children. So then, hey, Mom, your boys just watched a bunch of commercials on XYZ snack food or whatever, and now all their friends are eating it. They go stay the night with their friends. They come back to the house, so, hey, can we have XYZ food? You're like, hey, that's not real healthy. And now you're the villain, right? It's like it's like there's so many layers. So that's where tip of the iceberg, but
yeah, there's so much. Jessica, how about you? What's your history with food?
I got a thought right now. Can you check my phone and make sure it's on silent?
That's great. Yeah.
I won't be able to. I just looked over there and I thought.
Is that why you had that freaked out look on your face for a second?
Yes. Okay. It's in Do Not Disturb.
Audience,
okay,
she looked at me for a minute and she looked like with these big eyes, and I thought, did I say something inappropriate? But it was about your nerves for the phone to go off. Okay.
And I'm going to do Not Disturb.
Okay. So, Mark, I really appreciate your transparency and the way that you boldly shared that story about your journey.
Please.
I resonated with so much of it, and Justin, I see your side of it, and I've resonated so much with the passion and for the injustice of how something that is so essential has gotten hijacked, where what I heard you say was it doesn't feel like we have a lot of choice, yet how do we preserve like the good parts of it and enjoy it, but also just realizing that there's so much that's not right about it. It's a broken system.
Yeah.
And I find myself somewhere in the middle of both of those spaces. And I didn't know what an eating disorder was. But if you Google, and if I didn't known we were going to talk about this earlier, I might have brought it, or maybe we could do it in post. The campaigning for women in the 70s that started about looking good for your husband and being trim. And then in the 80s it was, I'm on the Special K diet, and the husband literally in the commercial pinches her side and says, you need to like work on your inches. Like this was okay. This was marketing that was designed to help women stay trim.
That's
on
crazy.
A Special K diet. You're supposed to have 2 bowls of cereal a day, right? Which is just on the meta level, that's just reducing caloric intake, right? But
that's so wrong for so many reasons.
But it's not good. It's not healthy. It's not nutrient dense.
No.
And so I hear that part, and I see it at play. I've lived that battle as a wife, as a woman, as a mother. Just the other day, Kaden wanted to get these blue Fuego Takis. They're all the rage.
Okay. What is that, a candy or something?
Oh my gosh.
You know what they are.
Yeah.
They're rolled little Takis, are like a rolled up Dorito. And these ones particularly have a spicy coating on the outside, and they're dyed electric blue.
With some kind of probably artificial.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so I bought them for him, and I let him eat them. And then I was like, how many days did it take for your poop to go back to normal?
Was that real?
Yeah.
Was it colored?
Oh, for sure, because it's color dye. So, like, I could give you a lecture on it, and I'm not, I think that there's a duality to it. I made the choice. Do I regret it? I don't know. Did we learn a lesson? Yeah, we did. And he was like, I know, right? I don't think I'm going to eat those again. Got it, But, like, there are going to be things, we do it. We experiment with food. We do things that we're like, I'm not going to eat that again, or I'm not going to do that again. But that's taken a lot of work for me, and I still have a lot of what I would call food noise in my life. And to take, back to my childhood, I grew up in Scotland, and a lot of the
great cuisine in Scotland.
Yes, and
is there really?
Yeah, I mean
shepherd's pie. And
okay,
stuff like that.
So one of my favorite things to
It's not
get.
the first. Like, where do you want to go to dinner tonight?
Yeah, there's a lot
all the time. Is there Scottish food around?
Yeah.
Is there real? Not Italian. Not Chinese.
No.
Not.
She's made some pretty. You've made a couple pretty rad dishes for me.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Oh well, maybe that's the.
No, and
that's
it's
the common
dude. It's
denominator.
delicious.
I haven't had nice Scottish dishes made for me.
Hey, let's stay
okay.
Go on.
So yes, you can go and get Irish pub type food, which is similar cuisine.
And it is
but
good.
on
And
the
I'm
way
Irish.
home from school, we would stop at the Chippy, which is the fish and chip shop.
Oh dang! Yes.
And I would get a chip bite, which is French fries on a buttered roll with brown sauce on it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Oh my gosh!
So,
I'm salivating right now.
It was so delicious.
Of course it was.
And a chip bite. Like, I have dreams about a chip bite sometimes. I want a chip bite.
I could literally fly to Glasgow right now.
It's so good. And so those were the kinds of things. But I also grew up in a real ingredient culture too, because imports were hard to come by. It was expensive. Mm-hmm. And they're not the whole culture isn't as, I want to say, hoarding as the United States are. Like, it was not ever going to be 7 boxes of cereal in the cabinet,
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a different culture as far as consumption, access to ingredients. I didn't know cakes came in a cake box mix until we moved to the States. So my mom always made everything from scratch. So I had that going for me in one sense. Real ingredients, real butter, things like that. But every memory, every good memory, mostly every good memory I have is around food. Christmas cookies, New Year's parties, birthdays, cakes. Today is my birthday. People bring you treats.
Happy birthday.
You know,
Birthday.
thank you.
Yeah.
And I love the whole experience of consuming food. I love the taste and the way, the texture, and the memories that come flooding with the food, right? And so there's so many layers that eating is an experience. Then we moved to the States, and that was the first time that I noticed something was maybe different. I didn't know if other people did this, but I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would find myself in the kitchen, almost like a sleepwalk, but I wasn't asleep. I remembered walking there. And I would get like little cups full of chips and go back to my room in the middle of the night. And so like, I was like, does everybody else sneak a snack in the middle of the night? You know, I thought that maybe they do, maybe they don't, but I for sure know if I got caught, I'd have been in trouble. So there was a lot of sneaking with food, and nobody told me that. Nobody said that. I just assumed that, you know, and those things that kind of become, you don't ask questions about it. You just, oh, that's part of who I am. And then I didn't really struggle with weight until I had some health issues with my asthma, and I had to go on some steroids for that. And I just puffed up like a balloon in the summer. I gained, 30, 40 pounds. And I remember people commenting on that, like, oh, you're gaining weight. Are you sure? Making comments like, we eat food to survive. We don't eat food to just eat food, and there started to be some social shaming around it. Maybe a concern, but it was like more extended family. I have food allergies, so some things I avoid, but we made food to show we loved people. Yeah. When someone needs something or they're going through a hard time, we bake a casserole. There's a hospitality element to it. And so I, like you, Mark, have done extreme things. I haven't ever used like drugs necessarily to do that, but I have punished myself with like, oh, you had too much here, you're not allowed to eat here, and you have to abstain from this, or I've been so bad, like the language around the food, I shouldn't eat this, I shouldn't do that. And I've gone for fasts. I've never done a 40-day. God love you. I don't even know how you did that. But I've done 3-day fast. I've said I'm not going on any sugar. And I do so good. And part of that is, I think, the novelty of the ADHD brain that loves a challenge. But once the challenge is done, like, that's it. I'm not doing it again, So there's some of that, like, neurodivergence playing, I think, that I've learned in my adulthood about it. But one thing that I've tried to create, and I thought because I had boys, I wouldn't necessarily deal with the body imaging things, but it's not true. Everybody, boys or girls, they watch their parents to see how their parents talk about their bodies, and that some of that comes on them. Mm-hmm. And so understanding the responsibility to get a handle on it is something that I've taken very seriously over the last, decade or more. I've been all kinds of sizes. I've been pregnant, I've been not pregnant, I've been hormonally heavier, I've had swelling, I've been all over the sizes. And I've always had some athletic things that have I have had asthma that has affected my ability to exercise. And so movement or doing things to combat that has not really been ever anything I've been into. All that to say, I'm trying at this stage of my life to not say no to things, but to say yes with discipline and self-control. Mm-hmm. And I will have cake for my birthday, but I'm not going to eat 3 pieces of cake, right? I'm going to have a piece of cake, and I'm not going to leave a fork out so every time I walk by I can just take a scoop of cake. That seems to be a pattern, is like, it's when you have access to it, I'm just going to eat it all, and then I won't have it available anymore, and then I won't be tempted anymore.
Right.
And I'm trying to stop doing that to myself. I'm trying to be okay with what would it look like if I just realized that it was always going to be a temptation for me, but wisdom and discernment could be part of my protocol. I don't know. I'm with you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Justin.
Well, firstly, I want to say you did look fantastic for your daughter's wedding.
Thank you. You were there.
There's pictures to prove it.
Thank you.
But I think it would help me, because it sounds like the interesting thing is there is psychological and social challenge behind each of us. It's a different storyline, and they all have to do with food. And in an attempt to understand those different perspectives, I would like to understand better what you go through, because as your friend for many, many years now, when we first became friends, you were heavier.
Yep.
I know you were shameful about it then, and then you've taken the bull by the horns, so to speak, and your physique is different now. And even for the perfect day, when you stood up and did a testimonial for Jessica and I, you know, the before and after photo that you showed there's an obvious transformation there. So even as your good friend and as your coach, I still have never begrudgingly understood the psychology, like what is it that Mark deals with on any given day around food, because I haven't seen that struggle externally that you deal with internally. So I don't know what your journey in bulimia and stuff, what like when you said today, like I think I'm going to start Overeaters Anonymous, I was floored. So what are you dealing with on a daily basis that I don't know about, bro?
Well, that's the dirty little secret, is that so much
Truth.
of it's secret.
Okay.
You know, it's what you don't do in and around other people.
Okay.
You know, so it's the sneaking an extra bite, like this idea. What you can, first off, you can have just one slice of cake. Really? If there's a cake there, you can just have one slice? What are you kidding me?
I'm telling you, like, it's either all or... I don't like the all or nothing pivot anymore. I don't think that that's healthy for us.
Right.
And so I'm trying to... Those are the things, the demons or the rewiring I'm trying to do. Like, I'm with you. That's why I shared it. I'm like, I get it,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. I don't have the off switch.
Yeah.
I don't know how to turn it off. And so if something is good, and it doesn't even have to be great, but if it's good, if it's not bad, then I want more of it. And if there's a portion, if there's a portion in front of me, that is reason, you know, that is what is considered to be an appropriate portion of food. I don't know it, and I can't relate to it. Like people talk about, you know, the size, you know, a piece of meat supposed to be, you know, the size of your palm. Are you kidding me? That's a first bite for me. That's another part. How I eat, you know, just big bites, not finishing a bite before I shove in another bite. There's so many things that I think I've probably gotten pretty good at doing without drawing attention to myself. But I'm not. Sometimes I'm very conscious of how I eat.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
When you were on ADHD medication, did it make it better?
Oh boy. I don't know. I don't recall.
Because I found this really interesting correlation in the neuroscience exploration that I've done and understanding the way that a neurodivergent brain works. And it's part of like what I was like reading this, I'm like, that's me. Like, maybe I don't have it's not because I want to overeat, but my brain doesn't process satisfaction the same way as a neurotypical brain does.
Oh, for sure.
And so like things like texture or those are like dopamine, like just like it. And so the idea of having more sensation, like sensory seeking behavior, can be attached to food. And so it's not that you're an overeater, it's that the brain doesn't understand how to process when to stop seeking stimulation or sensory stuff, right?
For sure.
And so it's like that part has been a really interesting facet that I've become aware of in the last several years, and trying to look at it to myself. And that's why I was just curious when you were talking, I was relating so much to those things, and then that correlation for me. So I wondered, since you had been on those before, if you were aware of a change.
Yeah, the medication that I was taking, I'm not sure was effective.
Okay.
I'm not sure I ever got to a dose, or even that the particular. I was
'cause there's so many
taking
different kinds.
Vyvanse for whatever it's worth, and it didn't necessarily work for me. I tried, but the dopamine thing, that's the thing. There's a dopamine hit that comes from just sitting around a table with others and eating. It's very social for me. It's a part of my past. I got a lot of comfort from food. When I was going through something difficult, or I was sad, food comforted me. I know a lot of people that don't eat when they're feeling stressed or anxiety or depression. And you always see, the grass is always greener on the other side. But for me it was, and when I felt happy, when I felt joy, when I was having a good time with people, let's add food to the equation, because that'll make it even better, and that's it. That's all.
Can I address really quick,
sure.
just for the audience, one point of to at least consideration as it relates to medication? I've worked with clients and even some family members that have ADHD and have been on the medications, and I can see, you brought up a really good point, Jessica, about how if you address the underlying thing like ADHD and the texture and whatever that is that causes someone to want to replace that need with food. In the same way, those same chemicals can also sometimes curb appetites or replace.
Right.
So then there can be a slippery slope of a dependency. That can be nicotine, people
Absolutely.
that smoke, or ADHD as well. So I just want to make sure the audience knows, hey, don't necessarily go out and think any of these are a panacea or a fix-all where you can go get on some meds, because that's...
You still have to train the behavior out of it.
And that's like, I'm just going to touch on it very lightly, really quickly on this point. That's the thing I've seen with the GLP-1s, or any number of weight loss things, even surgeries, because I've worked with clients that have even gotten gastric bypass and stuff, and the weight comes all back on, because if you don't address the underlying behavior, it can keep rearing its ugly head.
Right.
There's a saying
Yep.
that I use when I work with people, and it's like, pills are not skills and skills are not pills, right? And so it's like, sometimes medication maybe play a role, but it doesn't teach you skills. And sometimes skills can take you so far, and you need support, whether that's supplementation or any number of things. So I'm glad you brought that up, because it was just a curiosity, but I can see how that would lead into some other discussions for people. Mark, when you said that the memories
Oh gosh,
and
good
stuff,
and bad.
the night my dad died, we were all in the room, and one of us was talking about how my dad liked these sour candies. I was like, I wish we had some of those right now. And somebody went and bought several bags of them at the gas station and brought them back to us.
Right.
And we totally devoured those candies, And it's like, I can't eat those candies today without thinking of my dad. So there's that piece of memory that gets woven into food, that sometimes when we're grieving and we're wanting to be with that person, or we're remembering and we're not processing, we're using food to feel the comfort because it's attached so much to the memories. And that's a part that needs to be addressed. And that's why, like when you said this could be a multi-part issue, I see it a lot on the grief world, and how much it's disturbed, it's using food to numb the feelings and to replace the feelings of loss, and how multi-layered that is. And so identifying the losses that are attached to food and processing those emotions helps to then start retraining the brain and starts helping with the behaviors and creating the awareness.
Yep.
It's such an integral part. So I absolutely think we could probably do several episodes on it.
Yeah, memories are popping up. I want to share a couple of them. It's just it may help. I was too chubby. I was too husky. I weighed too much to play Pop Warner football. I had to lose a certain number of pounds before I could play, and I don't think I did. I don't know if I can't recall if I tried. I just recall being embarrassed that I was already, at whatever age that was.
Getting disqualified.
I was disqualified. I was maxed out. And I think the thought I had in my head was, how will I maintain this? Like, it's one thing to get to the weight, like a boxer, the night before you get weighed, and then, but you have to, I imagined you'd have to maintain it. But that was a really embarrassing thing to this extent. Here's how much it played into my psyche, as far as body dysmorphia. When I got into high school sports, I played basketball in June. I played I ended up playing basketball, played some baseball in junior high, and then it came time for high school. And basketball was always my favorite sport, and I was pretty good at it. But I thought I'm going to be too short. I'm too short. I just thought, and so I didn't stick with basketball. So I didn't play basketball. And then when it came to football and wrestling, I played, and lacrosse, I played some of each, but I didn't want to continue on because I didn't want to be in the locker room afterwards because I was embarrassed by my body. The way I looked at what I thought I looked like, I didn't want to be exposed. I gave up on sports. I gave up on. I didn't try, and I love sports, and I was pretty good. I was pretty good. I wasn't fast, I wasn't tall, but I had some natural skills, and I didn't do it. I just and I don't know if my friends my friends don't know that. I just went a different direction, and the direction I went in was partying. I just partied.
You thought you were too heavy?
Yeah, my body is just not. It's just not. I'm not an athlete. I'm not muscle enough. I'm not whatever. I just didn't want to be. I didn't want to be compared. I didn't want to compare myself. I didn't want to be around it.
Just avoided it.
I just wanted to avoid it. Yeah, I just didn't want to. And so, I missed that opportunity. Who knows how different it all could have been. But life is what it is, and here we are. But the good, bad memories. I was 4 years old, and I got up one morning before my parents were up. I unlatched the top. I dragged a chair to the door, unlatched the top latch of a door, and I walked down the street to a neighbor's house, the Brodies. Shout out to the Brodies, George and Parlene Brody and their 3 children that I've talked about Alan. Anyway, I walked to their house because they always had cookies. And
I just want a cookie.
She let me in, was feeding me cookies, and Pauline calls Mom and calls the house, said, do you know where your son is? He's in bed sleeping. No, he's down the block. They had to change the locks because I was going to walk to the neighbor's house to get food. All the neighbors, I would go to their houses. They were 2 houses down. The folks that were right next door to us, between us and the Brodies, were the Riveras, and they owned a restaurant, and it was Mimi. It was Dulcie was her name. We called her Mimi. She was the one who could make a pot of rice. That, like I said, it was just a plain white rice. but how could it be
it
so
was
good?
delicious.
It was unbelievably delicious. And then the neighbors on the other side of us it was always food. And it's been a part of me ever since. It's been my whole life. I believe it's genetic. I believe it's something that I think it's something that you can be, part of the DNA. And then you can also culturally and it can be cultivated, and it was food played a role in our household, and it's not a bad thing. And I'm not blaming you, Mom. It's you did good, and there was and we always were trying as a family. Mom was always trying various diets.
Yeah, you said she took you to the doctor and tried to
get
support.
They were on it and trying to figure it out and making sure they were doing their part. But it's can
I
sure
give a counter perspective?
Yeah.
I never really talked about this much, but just because it feels it's interesting. I never pinpointed the emotion of like shame because
I was just thinking that
people, like you commented at the beginning, how do I handle food? And I started having a pretty unhealthy relationship. You mentioned sports.
Yeah.
So I'm not a super big, tall guy either, and was really interested in playing football.
Yeah.
And my coach said to make the team, you have to gain weight. And I was a pretty scrawny kid. Mm-hmm. And I started lifting, around 7th grade, wanted to eventually play high school football and stuff. And so the coach put me on these weight gainers. It's a really popular protein powder situation, and increased my food intake. And all of a sudden I started eating all these refined carbohydrates and these weight gainers, which, knowing what I know now, so what ended up happening is it caused major gut dysbiosis for me. It wrecked my gut. So I started gaining muscle and weight, but then I developed cystic acne. So I went to my barber one time, and he's trimming up my sideburns, and he's like, how'd you get poison ivy on your face? And so here I was in junior high trying to gain weight and muscle to play football and be a cool guy. And my mom was like, son, why do you need to eat? Like, she's like, this is expensive and all this food you're eating. And I was getting this acne. So then to treat the acne, we went to the dermatologist because I now had acne all over my chest and my back. So I was gaining muscle and I was feeling good about myself, but now I was completely covered with acne. It started from my face and went down all the way down my arms. I had cystic acne on my chest and back. So now, I've got muscles, and I'd love to be the skins guy on the basketball team at the gym to show off my new pecs for the girls. But then I pull my shirt off and I look like a pizza. And so then we go to the dermatologist, and they prescribe me high-dose antibiotics, doxycycline at that time, which further wrecks your microbiome. Yeah. So I was like in this real roller coaster of trying to gain weight and muscle, and then and it took me, knowing what I know now, that completely wrecks your microbiome, and that affects your brain and your mood and all kinds of stuff. So it's really a meta. There I go again. It's a meta. There's this term. It's not meta like Facebook meta. I use this term flippantly. Meta. It's just like a big 30,000 foot view issue that we're talking about. And I never, like, as the skinnier guy, the fit guy, ever really talk much about that. But I think similar struggles, because on this side of the coin, you're trying to like be fit or gain muscle, or you've got your own issues that you're dealing with, But the more common thing that gets discussed, I think, is overeating or weight gain and stuff like that. But we're all like in our head, I think, about some of this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Well, like hearing you guys talk about that, missed opportunities, if you will. I danced in a ballet. In a ballet organization, and it was the Royal Academy of Dance, and I was good, and I had what it took to do that, and I was doing well. And then she told us to go to the next level. I developed breasts young, and it was like, well, now you're too voluptuous, is what she said, and you need to trim down, and you need to, And I ended up quitting when we moved to the States, because I already struggled enough with my body image and my eczema and things, it was like this was another issue. Didn't want to do it. And then we did some like talent thing in Florida, and I was picked to go to the next rounds, and they wanted to do a modeling contract, but then they were like, but you're going to need to lose like 30 pounds. And, everything to be accepted seemed like I had to look a certain way. Mm-hmm. And I just remember that impression, and it was frustrating. It was really, really frustrating because you just felt like it was this impossible standard that you could never really meet. And I hear you both saying that as well. And there's a healthy side to food that we are designed to pursue. And I do feel like it's been hijacked from us in a lot of ways and been exploited. And I would just love to see us as human beings get back to the part where we're not using food to replace dealing with our feelings, right? That we're equipping ourselves with tools for our internal capacity, and we're equipping ourselves with tools for the external capacity. So one of the reasons people eat bad food is because their schedule doesn't allow them to cook. Mm-hmm. And the external capacity is your time and your schedule and your habits, But that internal part is about freeing up space to create emotional bandwidth, if you will, that you are present in the moments, and you're recognizing, you're noticing when you're reaching for food, and you're wondering, why am I reaching for food? What is connected to this for me? What am I hoping to gain from the food? This is what I'm doing with my real life. I'm not telling you I have it solved. This is the practice I'm doing for me. Right. And then like the external thing is like, how do I meal prep to accommodate a family? How do I create a different social structure where I'm not running like a ping pong ball all the time, grabbing fast takeaways, and so those are the things that are going through my brain as I'm listening to both of you talk, and I'm in the middle of both of those stories, like physically in the middle here, but also recognizing those are real things that I'm dealing with in my life as I grow and become, as I try to break that chain for other generations coming behind. And my kids drink soda, like it's not like we're the crunchy house on the street, It's just a lot. There's so much. Yeah. And it feels somewhat oppressive in some ways of like, this is not ever going to get easier, but could we equip ourselves with tools to navigate it a little more gracefully, maybe? I don't know. It's definitely not resolved.
Well, we're at 47 minutes or whatever, and I feel like we've laid a pretty good foundation. We've at least discussed what the three common people deal with, different perspectives. Yeah. And I think we've all maybe said things that are quite relatable to a lot of people. And I don't know, I'm going to throw this vote out to you guys in the audience. Like we've kind of laid the groundwork, but maybe we continue the dialogue on the next podcast, or maybe in future podcasts sooner than later on. Then, okay, there's people listening. They're like, man, me too. Right. Then maybe we focus on how to actually address the big elephant in the room and start to offer some tools.
Yeah, I think it would be really neat if we could maybe do a 3 episode series after this. So there'd be 4 episodes to it. One of them, maybe I can talk on the internal emotional processing side of it. You can talk on the external thing of like habits and hacks and things like that. And then you could talk about this addiction side of it that is Overeaters Anonymous, and your experience and how you're navigating it and the tools that you're using. Yep. And the resources available to people. Maybe perhaps that would be something that would serve our community, and also we could learn a little bit from each other. Yeah,
because I'd love to get more to the neurochemical side, that some of your education, which I can touch on, and it'd be good to really understand it, because it is obviously I don't know if we would label it a pandemic or an epidemic, but it is a major thing in the U.S. and definitely beyond as well. Mm-hmm. So it could be great to tackle it.
Yeah, somewhat. It was one thing when I stopped drinking. I thought this is going to affect certain
groups. Yeah,
certain groups. Not that I don't want to spend time with those people anymore. That where drinking was happening. But there was a period where I kept showing up and I wasn't tempted. Drinking was not the thing, but things changed and things evolved. It's a whole nother thing when you talk about food, and you're like, am I just going to, am I eating alone? Am I, how does this affect my life much broader? Because, it's food. We need it. So I welcome this opportunity to expand on this and explore it. And I definitely, in my personal, on my socials and on Think Upon, I want to bring people along more consistently on this journey of me starting an OA meeting, because I don't think there's one that exists in Springfield right now. And I have some background in being a moderator in groups like this, and so I'm really excited to do the 12 steps. I've been reading 12-step books every day, little daily devotionals, and there's so much wisdom in it. There's so much wisdom. And I want to share it. And so, yeah, guys, and your platforms. I mean, this is what you guys talk about. And what does a perfect day look like?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, perfect day, one of those components is having a healthy relationship with food. How do you keep yourself fueled throughout the day and enjoying it as well? I still want to enjoy. I want to enjoy food. I'm not one of those people that I think will ever look at food as just
nutrition.
It's fuel. And I have people like that in my life that know how to do one slice of cake, or half it. I just need a little taste, and push away, because they're full, like really smart things.
I use Justin's hack when I have cake, and I just do some air squats afterwards to try to counterbalance the sugar.
Make a difference.
Post-meal movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to leave, before Mark or Jessica, before you guys wrap it up, I'd like to leave the audience with a silver lining and like something positive to think about. There is a way to do this. I've done it with hundreds, if not thousands of people, and there are great tools and tricks. And the thing about food is it's the greatest, most powerful lever, however you want to say that, to either driving health and longevity and youth, or driving it the other way, because it's a decision that we have to make absolutely every day, multiple times a day. Yep. So the way you make those decisions can greatly impact which way you're headed on that, toward health or away from it. And the thing is, between the three of us, we're going to sort it out for you.
Yeah.
Or at least have a conversation.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
We're here to help, and we're here to be helped. Help us help you. Help us.
Yeah.
And we'll help you.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Big Ideas podcast. This is about people and perspective and the ideas that shape who we're becoming. If this episode sparks something for you, stay curious. We'll see you next time.
See you.
See ya.